Brady is preparing to play his first game in New England since leaving for Tampa after the 2019 season, and he spoke about the return on a recent podcast. Brady said, quote, "I'm not going to necessarily reminisce. I don't think this is the moment for that. I'm not going to be thinking about 20 years of history. I'm going to be thinking about one night of football, a Sunday night game coming off a really tough loss." So, Shannon, do you believe Brady won't feel any nostalgia Sunday night?
I do not. I'm not saying that he's going to bask in the moment, but Skip, you played 20 years in an organization. This is the first time Tom Brady's going to be taking the bus to the stadium. For the previous 20 years, Tom Brady's driven himself to the game.
You've been through this before.
I've been through this before.
At
Skip,
Baltimore.
And Denver.
And then go back. Yeah.
I did it because of, yeah. And so, Skip, all of a sudden now you walk into the stadium, instead of going left to the home locker room, you go right to the visitors' locker room. And now what I did, I'm not saying he's going to do it. I got over there early and I got an opportunity. I went back and talked to my athletic trainers and the equipment guys and some of the security guys that were there, the grounds crew. Skip, you spend 10 years. Tom Brady spent double that. I'm not saying it's going to be, yeah, you want to win the game.
But didn't you feel like an interloper?
Yeah, you're like, damn. I wonder if they
I don't belong in here.
And Skip, they introduced me and the crowd gave me a standing ovation running out the tunnel. Now, I don't know. I mean, see, I think now, Skip, a lot of teams, they just come out there as a team. They don't do it like when you was covered, they entered the starting lineup for the Dallas Cowboys and each guy run out the tunnel. I don't know if they're going to do it like that, but I'm sure the crowd, when Tom Brady is announced, they're going to applaud him. They're going to appreciate the 20 years that he gave him and the Super Bowls and all the countless memories. And so it's going to be a factor. Is it going to be an overwhelming factor? Is he going to be like too big for the moment? No. But to say Tom Brady wants you to believe that he's not human. But we've seen the side since he's been in Tampa, Skip, that Tom Brady let us into just a little glimpse. Yeah, okay, Tom, you kind of like us. You just win more. You're better at your job than a lot of people are at theirs. But you have emotion. There's a human side of you to this. And I believe he will have a little nostalgic moment to think about, like, dang, look around. Okay, let's go hang 50 on him.
Okay. I got to tell you, the more I think about this, I am concerned for the GOAT going back to his old New England pasture where he used to eat opponents like tin cans, right? Because he's shown so much more emotion in Tampa, so he's the new Tom.
Right.
He's the more open and outgoing Tom. He's letting us see inside.
Right.
And he is appreciating and enjoying the ride a lot more than he enjoyed it under Coach Belichick.
I would agree with that.
So the 44-year-old goes back to where he played for 20 years and was, to me, the driving force of the greatest dynasty in the history of professional football. And his emotions are going to be very mixed, but his emotions are going to be running high and hot into this game. So it's going to be very hard for him to do what he does better than anybody ever, which is control and channel his emotions.
Skip, how do you stand across the field and look at somebody when you knew they didn't want you?
That is correct. So I do fear for him a little bit because I think this is going to be harder than even he thinks.
Yes.
Because the defense is not playing very well. So I think the kid's going to have some success against this defense because people are right now.
Correct.
I just read the NFL Network reported they're going to bring in Richard Sherman.
Right.
To check him out, but there's no way he's going to be able to play in this game. He wouldn't be available for a couple of weeks, even if they choose to go ahead and sign him.
Right.
So they're really decimated at corner. So their back end is highly vulnerable.
Correct.
And if JPP can't come off the edge, he's got a banged up shoulder. And I'm not sure about his status. But if they don't have him to rush the passer, I think the New England offense is going to have a lot of success, which means it could be you got to outscore the New England offense. So the onus more than ever will fall on the shoulder pads of this number 12. And again, it's going to rush over him that he obviously wanted to finish here. Yeah, this is where he wanted it all to end.
He said that. There are several things that he said. I want to play till I'm 45. I want to play my career here.
Yep.
That's what he said.
Okay.
And the one he could control, which was playing how long. And the thing with Skip, you and I was going back and forth. I was like, yeah, Skip, he might play till he's 45. I don't know if he's going to play with that on Coach Belichick watch.
No.
Because Coach Belichick was always talking about, I don't talk about the future. I'm just worried about Cincinnati. I'm just worried about the Giants. I'm worried.
Yep.
He thinks in terms of who am I playing this week? Tom talking about 5 years, 6 years from now? I ain't thinking about that.
Okay. So he now insists on the podcast last night, I'm going to be thinking only about one night of football, a Sunday night game coming off, as Jenny read, coming off a really tough loss. It was a really tough loss, and it took a lot out of his team. It was very physical. Gronk got beat up. Everybody. Jamel Dean got hurt. They all,
Bernard.
Hey, all of them. Yeah, I don't know how his knee's going to be. I'm sure they all got lots of bumps and bruises from that game because it was extremely physical because the Rams were out of their minds because this was like a Super Bowl type game. It was at least a playoff type game for them. So now you got to dredge it back up to go back to New England where this team wants to win badly for Brady. But has he ever wanted to win a game any worse than this game?
Yeah, I would rank this right below the Super Bowls.
Would you?
Yeah, I would.
You sure you'd rank it below? I'm not sure in his heart of hearts that it wouldn't rank at the top of the list.
It's up there, Skip, because when you feel someone has wronged you, there's nothing greater than getting satisfaction. It was like, I told you, I could still be doing this. And Tom is going to look around. And now, Skip, think about it. You used to stand on one side. You're on the other side. And you're looking at these guys like, man, they're my friends. I don't know if Tom has ever prayed. I don't know what's the turnovers been since Tom has left. I'm sure it's a lot. But some of these guys, McCourty and Kyle Van Noy and Slater and some of these guys, he's played against. He's played with.
Yes.
And the coaching staff, for the most part, that's one thing. The Patriots don't really do a whole lot of turning over the coaching staff. No. Those guys, unless they get a head job somewhere or an OC job, DC, they stay right there for perpetuity. Okay. So for me, I don't think he's giving it the credit that it deserves because he's trying to man, look here, I'm a Terminator. I'm here to do a mission. I'm going to complete this mission, and I'm going to get back on the bus, get back on the plane. But I don't think he understands the range of emotions that he's going to feel because he's never had to experience it before.
It's going to be very difficult, and it shocked me last week that he signed off on both his father and his trainer doing interviews with New England area media, with Boston media.
Right.
A week ahead of this game, on the week they were getting ready for their toughest game on the schedule at Rams.
Correct.
And the trainer said that Bill Belichick took the ultimate shot. He never evolved with Tom. He never was able to honor Tom and treat him with the respect that Tom had earned after several Super Bowls.
He treated him just like the 6th round draft pick.
Yep.
In year 10, year 11, year 15, year 20. And there has to be some kind of growth. There have to be. Skip, I have kids. And when we go out, Skip, the hardest thing for me to realize is that they come with ordering drinks. My daughter, let me get a margarita. And then I realize, damn, she's 28.
Yep. True.
So Skip, that's the evolution process.
No, I know.
At some point in time, Coach Belichick, you got to realize, you know what?
Yep.
He ain't just a 6th round quarterback. You know, the guy he kind of big deal now. I got to.
Okay. And the father spoke last week to Boston media and said that he feels extreme vindication over the way his son was treated. Yes, extreme vindication. So then Tom on his podcast last night tried to make a big joke about, I have a statement to make about my father that never again will he be allowed to speak on my behalf. Like he's now disqualified.
Yeah, whatever.
You signed off on that. You knew what he was doing. He definitely checked in with you.
Of course.
And said, I'm just going to spill it. I'm just going to speak my heart. Go ahead, sure.
The 3 closest people in his life. Giselle, whatever she said, when she said she was worried about Tom and the concussions about how he came home, I believe her because she dealt with him every night. When the trainer said what he said, he's with that guy every single day.
Every single day.
And I don't know how often did he talks to his dad, but I'm sure he talks to his dad a couple of times a week.
I'm going to bet every day with the dad. That's how close they are.
Well, I know they talk a lot.
Yep.
So that's my bank. I'm cashing whatever they selling, I'm buying.
You're buying. It's going to be a tough night for Tom Brady.
It is.
I can't imagine that it won't be
the build-up, Skip.
The build-up, I mean, he can say all the right things.
Yes.
He won't reminisce, but you don't walk in there and not feel certain something. And I just cannot wait for this one. Sunday night, we will be counting down the days. But we are still celebrating the Cowboys last night. Just how impressive was Dak Prescott? We just saw it last night. We'll give him a letter grade.
You got to give it up.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a grade. You're going to be disappointed with the grade I give him.
Dak's involved, led by Ezekiel Elliott, getting 17 carries for 95 yards with 2 touchdowns. And since training camp, Skip has said that Zeke will have a bounce-back season. So, Shannon, after last night, are you seeing a bounce-back season for Zeke now?
No, because we've lowered our expectations of Zeke, Skip. And I think that's what we needed to do. If you look at Zeke in his first 3 years, he averaged 22 carries a game, 101 yards a game, which led the league in rushing all 3 years. His first 3 years, 3 guys since the merger, averaged more than 101 yards per game. Eric Dickerson, Earl Cameron, Edgerrin James. All 3 in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Currently, Zeke averages 15 carries, 66 yards. He averaged 65 yards a game last year. Does that seem like a bounce-back year to you?
Is it my turn?
No.
Okay.
All I'm saying is what we've done is that we do not no longer expect Zeke Elliott to be the bell cow back. You mentioned Tony Pollard needs to get more carries. Everybody's mentioning Tony Pollard. So how can a guy be a bounce back, be your bell cow if you're saying his backup needs to get more carries than him? Ain't nobody saying, man, they need to get somebody, whoever the backup is, and Derrick Henry's backup. He's not demanding to get more carries. Dalvin Cook. Christian McCaffrey, when he's healthy, nobody's clamoring for Chuba Hubbard to get more carries. But that's what you're saying. So how can a guy have a bounce-back season if you're saying the backup needs more carries? What has happened, Skip, is that we've lowered our expectations of what we expect from Zeke. So because what we see now is like, man, he looking good. But then when you project it out, 15 carries, 66 yards a game, that's not bounce-back, Skip. I hate to break it to you.
Okay, my turn. Here's what's happening.